guys, it's Liz Mew, and in today's video we're going to be eating traditional Korean food, but all vegan. Now there are so many places that you can get vegan Korean traditional food here in Seoul in South Korea, so we're actually going to split this video into two. This is going to be part number one. You may have heard that it is difficult to eat vegan in Korea, but no, you just need to know where to look. Let's go. The first place we are going to is a place called Osegyehyang. I think I'm saying that correctly, I'm not 100% sure. It is in Insadong, which is a slightly touristy area, so if you shop around here, things are kind of expensive. The restaurant is a really cozy, no frills, traditional home style situation. You sit on the floor at these really low tables, and it's just the freaking best. We loved it here. It is 100% vegan here at Osegyehyang, and the menu is the bomb. It's packed with a really good assortment of traditional Korean food, all vegan obviously. You can get BIBIM-NAENGMYEON, you can get Korean stews, you can get Korean soy grilled meat things, you can get MANDU dumplings, and it's just awesome. The options don't really end, and you can come here so many times like we did and try all the different things. One of the best things about coming here is that when you order food, you will get to experience the awesomeness of banchan. Banchan is Korean side dishes, and I use the word experience because I really think this is a very unique dining experience. Once there is banchan on the table, those Korean side dishes, it really changes the vibe of your dinner. You get to share all these tiny little plates of prepared vegetables. You will always get kimchi. Kimchi is like the king of banchan, and it kind of just breaks up the meal. You can snack on these little tidbits of vegetables between your main meals, and it's really lovely. So we came here a lot, and we just kind of ate our way through the menu as we stayed in Seoul. This was the place we came when we couldn't figure out where to eat. So I would recommend trying 3 things from here, and you can kind of pick and it's flexible, guys, these recommendations that I have for you. Number 1, you should try what's called sambap. Now it's not called sambap on the menu, but sambap is basically rice/lettuce wraps, and you can order a form of grilled Korean meats. There was a really nice spicy one on the menu that I can highly recommend. That was our favorite. And what you do, you get a piece of lettuce, you get some rice, you get the ssamjang sauce that they bring with it, and you just kind of wrap it up like a little lettuce taco, and you eat it, and it is so fresh and delicious and hearty all at the same time. It's so good. Number 2, what you want to try is the stews. Korean stews are the bomb. They're usually spicy and hearty, warming. If it's cold, this is what you want. It's called JIGAE. Now there are a lot of different jigaes to choose from at Osegyehyang, but if you go here, please promise me, guys, promise me that you will get the grilled soy protein stew. It is, in my opinion, the best stew in all of Seoul. I think I had this 5 times, like in a row, 5 days in a row. Didn't get sick of it. I'm currently in Sydney and I crave this on the regs. Please get it. It's got this beautiful grilled flavor to the soup. I know, it's like grilled flavored soup. There are japchae noodles inside, there's vegetables, there is grilled soy meat, and it is so delicious. Easily the best stew in the house. You can also try PGJjigae, which is really delicious. It has a beautiful, unique, nutty flavor to the stew because it's got ground soybean in there. It's really, really good. It doesn't really look that great, but I promise you it tastes spectacular. Finally, you should try the mulnaengmyeon. Mulnaengmyeon is this crazy, wicked, unique Korean noodle dish that is served cold. Everything sits in a really light broth with ice cubes. Yes, there are ice cubes to keep this super fresh. And the noodles are super chewy because they're made with buckwheat starch or sweet potato starch, and it just has a really awesome bouncy mouthfeel. To serve it up, you add some mustard, you add some vinegar, and you do a little snip with your scissors that they give to you, and then you mix it all up. You can find mulnaengmyeon vegan at a couple of vegan restaurants here in Seoul, but I think this is the best one. It's so light and refreshing and tangy. It's just a very different noodle dish. I would highly recommend trying it while you're here. Around the corner, still in Insadong, you can find this amazing little stall called Maru Jayeonsik Kimbap, and they do 100% vegan Korean street food. This is easily one of the most fantastic places in all of Seoul. Not only is the menu all vegan, but it's affordable, there are generous portions, and it's pretty much the dream destination for any vegan foodie. Not only that, but you'll be able to try some Korean favorites which are extremely difficult to find vegan. Things like tteokbokki and hotba and oreng fish cakes are so popular here in Korea, but only here at this wonderful little corner store will you find vegan versions. You can even get Korean fried chicken, oh yeah. Everything's pretty cheap too. For only 3,000 won, which is about $4 Australian, you can get a whole plate of delectable fried tofu or soy ham kimbap. That's about $2.50 US. That's crazy. But let's talk about the food. The kimbap here was one of my favorite things and is so delish. Kimbap is often mistaken for sushi rolls, but is seasoned with sesame oil instead of rice vinegar, and tends to also have more fillings. Kimbap literally means seaweed rice, so they are seaweed rice rolls. They're filled with seasoned veg like spinach, radish, tofu, cucumber, and more, and each of the different vegetables is actually cooked and seasoned before being rolled up. Here's just the carrots being cooked, so lots of work goes into making these rolls so delicious. My favorite thing was the Korean fried chicken, or the Kong chicken, which means bean chicken. Now, it doesn't really taste like chicken, or I didn't think so anyway, but it's friggin' unreal. They are kind of like soy protein pizzas with a really great shredded texture, and the sauce was sweet and sticky and nutty, and I think a little bit spicy, but I can't really remember, but I do remember that it was a 10 out of 10.
It's nice and sticky, crispy, it's great. That is awesome.
If you want to try one of the most famous Korean street foods, this is the only place in all of Seoul that we found vegan tteokbokki. These chewy and saucy rice cakes are enveloped in a spicy and sweet and salty situation and topped off with toasted sesame. Now you can get MANDU dumplings here, but I'm pretty sure they were just from a packet, and I thought they were pretty average if I'm being completely honest. But hey, if you've got the craving, you can get some here. They also have BIBIM-NAENGMYEON here, and yes, it is similar to mulnaengmyeon that you can get at Osegyehyang. Bibim just means mix, so instead of broth, there's an assortment of different veggies over the same starchy, chewy noodles and sauce. Here it's topped with kimchi, radish, cucumber, salad, greens, cabbage, and even pineapple, and it was super saucy but a little bit too sweet for my liking. But I loved the vegan hotba and oreng. Hotba and oreng are Korean fish cakes that you can find on skewers that they have at a lot of street food stalls, but they're obviously not vegan. And these, I thought, had a very similar texture to fish cakes, or what I remember the texture of fish cakes to be like. And I actually think the two, both the oreng and the hotba, were made of the same thing and just cut into different shapes, but I didn't care. They were so good and served in the most warming, mushroomy kind of broth, and it was definitely one of my favorite things. We always got this when it was raining. Another really great place just around the corner in Insadong is HanGwaChae, an all-vegan buffet run by a lovely older couple. Now, I don't actually have that much footage because we only came here after climbing the tallest peak in Seoul, and I was really tired, but I reckon this is the most bang for your buck vegan place in town. For only 13,000 won, which is about 16 Aussie dollars, you can really fill up your plate with the most delicious veg. They'll even give you some soup and a freshly fried savoury Korean pancake. It was such a nourishing and good value meal, and I really wish we had gone here more. Sanchon. Now, this was my least favorite restaurant of the whole trip. I'm just gonna say it before I make you guys hungry because admittedly, the food is beautifully presented. But Sanchon was disappointing. So you don't even need to order. There's a set 16-course menu and the price varies depending on if you come for lunch or dinner. Lunch was about 40 Australian dollars per person, which I guess isn't that expensive because you do get a lot of food, but in Korea, this is definitely on the expensive side of things. Round 1. I'm pretty excited and things start off pretty well. We get served some fermented pine tea, which I'm told was slightly alcoholic.
Ooh. It's very sweet, quite sour, almost like plum or citrus. It's like tangy. It doesn't taste bad like most alcohol.
The appetizers are here and they look good. There's Korean acorn jelly, which I love. There is pumpkin porridge and it's pretty good. There's this very thin and interesting looking delicate sheet of stringy seaweed, which was cool. There's also bitter melon, a seaweed cracker, and water kimchi. Not a bad start. Round 2 is okay. I found everything on the main plate was kinda underwhelming. There was lettuce and rice crackers, and shiitake and what I think was a sweet potato covered in flavorless, fluffy white stuff. Kinda just like white bread. Not great.
Kind of bland.
I thought the mushroom on a skewer was really good though. And at the time I also thought the Korean pancake was good, but it was my first one that I had had in Korea, and in hindsight it was only okay. We'll get to the real good Korean pancakes in part 2 of these videos, so stick around.
It is quite oily.
Okay, round 3 was the biggest course, the most beautiful course, and I hate to break it to you folks, but also the most disappointing. But Liz, it looks so beautiful. And I know, guys, and at the time I thought it was pretty magnificent too. I mean, getting all these beautiful little dishes filled with Korean vegetables, but I was a fool because they all kind of just tasted the same. Just keeping it real, looking back, I don't really remember anything special about Sanchon. In fact, I didn't actually remember anything at all until I watched this footage. And I feel like that's a pretty bad sign. And I feel kind of terrible saying that, but I really don't want you to waste your time in Korea, especially if you've only got a few days here. I guess the best bits about round 3 were the doenjang jjigae, which is a very classic Korean stew, the tolsot rice, which you can get pretty much about everywhere, japchae noodles, which are way better at street food stalls, and the sambap wraps, but again, better elsewhere. Round 4 is dessert. Cinnamon tea, sweet potato crackers, and what I'm pretty sure was store-bought crackers on a plate. I think my main problem with Sanchon was that there was no vibe, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sure it's beautiful and you get a lot of food in a million tiny dishes, but we were rushed, it's expensive, and honestly, it's just not that delicious. I think it's fine if you come once, but I wouldn't prioritize going here. If you really want to splash out on fancy Korean temple food, I think this place is a much better option. Balwoo is the only vegan restaurant that boasts a Michelin star here in Seoul. It's on the 5th floor of a Buddhist temple information center, and there's actually a cheaper vegan lunch buffet on the 2nd floor, but you'll need to book to eat on the 5th floor at Balwoo. So you can call to make a reservation, or you can make one in person, and they have staff that speak English. On arrival, you'll be shown to a private room, so that's fun. They have a whole series of set menus to choose from, and we chose the Maru menu. We had 2 appetizer courses. In the first, we had the best pumpkin porridge I've ever had. The pumpkin flavor was strong and sweet, and it was delicious.
It's nice and salty. Wow, it's also the most flavorful pumpkin porridge I've had in Korea yet.
The lotus root water kimchi was absolutely delicious as well, and so crunchy.
That is such good kimchi.
There was also some autumn veggies with a little bit of fermented tofu and a fig in OMIJA berry syrup. I don't really know what that is, but it kind of tasted like cinnamon to me. The next appetizers were my favorite ones, and they went so well together. A trifecta of awesomeness. Grilled acorn jelly with bonnet bellflower root sauce, stir-fried glass noodles with seasonal veg, also known as japchae, and a coriander and radish salad. Now these 3 things went so well together. The acorn jelly was absolutely delightful, not crispy, but wonderfully chewy and savoury mouthfuls. The japchae was not your regular japchae. If you've seen my street food video, you'll notice these noodles look totally different, and it's prepared here from really fine julienne vegetables with short cut noodles, and the flavours was so good, so tasty. The The salad was also really refreshing and a little tangy and herbalness to balance out the other heartier flavors. So yum. Naturally, 2 rounds of main courses followed, and this is where it gets scrumptious. Are you ready? There was the cutest serving of naengmyeon I've ever seen. I thought this was special because the noodles in naengmyeon aren't usually this thin, and these noodles were delicate as rice vermicelli, and I think it made an even better vessel for the chili and pear sauce that it was in. Too good. We also got a very sexy parade of assorted Korean pancakes. There was a mung bean one, an autumn vegetable one, and a chili paste one as well. And we also got a fat vegetable dumpling. And finally, we also had these delightfully sticky and crispy mushrooms in a chili sauce, and they were definitely the highlight of this round. The next main was equally as splendid. We had a very delicious JIGAE, the classic Korean soybean paste stew paired with sticky rice steamed in lotus leaves with ginkgo nuts and pine nuts. And I absolutely love sticky rice steamed in lotus leaves. It gives off this very leafy, almost herbal flavor. It's very unique and it just kind of reminds me of childhood. That was awesome, and it came with a very cute set of panchan. Dessert was a very simple affair. There was a persimmon and yam puree, as well as this little balloon flower root, which had been preserved in like a grain syrup, and it was very sweet and kind of tasted like a date, but with a bitter aftertaste. We definitely enjoyed our visit to Paru. The food and the service is good, but it is quite expensive at a hot 65,000 won, or 80 Australian dollars. And in part 2, I'm actually going to show you where you can get what I believe to be the best Korean temple food in Seoul. I reckon it's way better than both Sanchon and Paru, and it has the best Korean pancakes. Thank you so much for watching Vegan Traditional Korean Food in Seoul part number 1. I will see you guys next week for part number 2, and I promise you every single restaurant in that video is a banger. See you then.